Autoline Daily is brought to you by Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com.
Here are today's top headlines. The EPA officially condemns greenhouse gases. The Dodge Challenger dethrones the Toyota Prius. And Danica will be headed to NASCAR. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Tuesday, December 8th, 2009, and now the news. The EPA has finally ruled that greenhouse gases threaten the public health and welfare of the American people. Of course, so far, the EPA's only efforts to reduce greenhouse gases focus solely on light vehicles, cars and trucks, which only account for 18% of those emissions. You heard me right, only 18%, which ignores the other 82%. According to the Wall Street Journal, the EPA will issue rules the auto industry has to meet by March 31st next year. But it says all other emitters will face regulations, and I wonder if that includes me, because every time I talk, carbon dioxide comes out of my mouth. Hey, in all the management changes at General Motors that we reported on yesterday, we neglected to note that Ray Young will continue as Chief Financial Officer. You'll remember there were various news reports he would be leaving the company or get reassigned. At one point, GM would not even acknowledge if he was staying or going. And Steve Ratner of the Automotive Task Force even vilified GM's financial staff in an article in Fortune magazine. But Ray Young has survived to fight another day, and I give him the highest praise for soldiering on in the face of all this public scrutiny that questioned his competence. Even though Ford has named Geely its preferred bidder for Volvo, it received a new bid last week for the company, and now it has another. According to the AFP, Swedish consortium Jacob AB has submitted a bid but would not say how Ford reacted to its last-minute entry. While financial numbers have not been disclosed, it's believed that all three bids are close to $2 billion. And speaking of Sweden's other car company, GM is talking to Chinese automaker BAIC about a partial sale of Saab's assets. According to Reuters, BAIC would acquire Saab's tooling and technology and move it all from Sweden to China. Everything else, including its headquarters in Sweden, would be shut down for good. GM is going through several other bids as well and says it will have a decision by the end of this month. It's been rumored for some time now, but now it's official. Danica Patrick will race in NASCAR next year. According to the Sporting News, Danica will drive in a limited number of races in the Nationwide Series for JR Motorsports, which is owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Danica still plans to race in all of the IRL events next year, and GoDaddy.com is her sponsor for both series. You know, it's been a long time since we've had some good news to report about Chrysler, but now we've got some, and from the most unlikely source. According to Consumer Reports, the company's V8-powered Challenger was just rated as the most satisfying vehicle by its readers. The retro muscle car beat out the long-standing Toyota Prius for top honors. 92% of Challenger owners said they would definitely buy another one if given the chance. Second on the list with a score of 91 is the Ford Fusion Hybrid. Other top performers include the Chevy Corvette, the Porsche 911, and the all-wheel drive Acura TL. GM announced it's investing $336 million in its Detroit Hamtramck plant to build the Chevy Volt. Production is expected to start late next year. The outlay of cash brings the company's total Volt-related investment in Michigan to $700 million spread across 8 facilities. In related news, the website gmvolt.com reports that Chevy has come out with a theme song for the car. Yeah, a theme song. It's an itchy and scratchy, shiny, smiley, happy kind of jingle that sings the praises of the upcoming EV.
E for electricity, V for Chevy Volt to make an electric car.
Why don't they get AC/DC or Metallica to do it? Ugh. Coming up next, we'll take a closer look at the electric version of the Mini. As I mentioned yesterday, BMW recently took us back to college for an event it called the One Day University. One of the more well-attended workshops at its North American headquarters featured the latest information on the real-world experience it's getting with the Mini E. This is the program that started last summer, where 450 electric versions of the Mini Cooper were leased to a select group of customers in Southern California and the New York City area. Well, some of the first feedback BMW is getting from the study group, which no one should be surprised about, is focused on everyday problems.
The car's not charging. Why not? Well, you have the breaker. Could be something wrong with the car. The utility service may have a little dip for whatever reason, which sort of tripped your GFCI. It could be your little outlet in your garage that tripped the breaker if you're using the engagement boost cable. Even in our own garage here with Lake, we've tripped our breaker occasionally because we didn't adjust the settings properly. So there's a lot of reasons why something can go wrong, and it's a bit of a murky area.
Leading the workshop is Rich Steinberg, BMW's North American manager for electric vehicles. And as he and his team talk to Mini E drivers to compile data, they're running across not only a number of interesting technical items about the car, but also what it can do to a consumer.
We also encountered this famous phrase called range anxiety, which, there are no gas stations that you can pull into to charge up your electric vehicle. You're basically tethered to your home location in order to get the juice to power your car. So we've encountered range anxiety, which allows for a lot of advanced planning. And the way to overcome some of those issues with range anxiety is with public infrastructure. And you go to the mall, or you go to certain shopping locations, or you go to other public settings, and the ability to be able to charge in those locations will alleviate this issue of range anxiety. So our next step along the EV path is to not only focus on residential installations, but also on public infrastructure.
It looks like the Mini E program, which was only slated to last a year, may be extended to continue gathering data on both the cars and consumer behavior. However, if you're hoping to have a Mini E parked in your driveway someday soon, don't hold your breath. BMW says there's no plans to produce the vehicle at the present time. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Yesterday, we announced that Brent Dewar would be joining us for Autoline After Hours, but unfortunately, now he can't make it. Tomorrow, we'll announce who the guest will be, so thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
From the folks at Chevrolet, Chevy Volt is on its way. It could make a cleaner world, a greener car that powers itself. You get up to 40 miles, emission-free clean energy. After that, biofuel or gas will power your journey. E for electricity, V for Chevy Volt and me. Easier than 1, 2, 3, just plug it in and see. E for electricity, V for vehicularity. That's not a word, but it's okay, 'cause Volt could change the world someday.